Hi, I'm Eileen Bild. I am with Hotel Talk, and today I am thrilled to have Ruble Chandy. He is an internationally syndicated best-selling author for 90 Days to Life, and he's also the creator of Accelerator Success. Hi, how are you?
Pretty good, Eileen. It's great to be with you.
Good. So Ruble and I are going to be doing a multiple series of interviews based on his book. And the future interviews that we'll be doing will include the spirituality of business. And then after that, we're going to be doing some deep dives into the psychology of business. And the final interview will be the neurology aspect. And so today, we're going to start with the foundational part of building that success for the entrepreneurial business environment and being able to move forward in a successful and positive way. So I'm going to hold up the book for a second so people can see what it looks like. And so 90 Days to Life, I'd like to get your insight into what caused you to write this book and talk about the 90 Days to Life and the outline that created the story that's in the book.
Yeah, so this is very exciting for me to share with you. Around 2008, 2009, I started helping people, individuals, regular folks, with their problems. Like sometimes they come to me, I'm not able to find a better job, I'm not able to improve my business, I'm depressed all the time, and then I'm sad all the time. So like people came to me through referrals. Like, I helped one person and they started spreading the message, all the way up to helping people, Emmy Award winning artists to celebrities, and people who are famous. So I became this secret person that they could reach out to with any kind of complex problems. So the root of this came from me struggling as a kid, financially, emotionally. In India, I was born in India, and then we went through like major financial crisis in our own lives. And I didn't know how to deal with that. So I had to figure out things, being in that difficult and really challenging situation. So I had to figure out things. And so when I figured out these things, so I started helping people. And fast forward 2014, I had this thought, I want to write a book about the things that I do for these people. And the ideas that I was implementing at the time became like so cutting edge that it's very complex to explain what I do, right? People ask me what you do, and the interventions that I did and the processes that I took people on became like really complex, because as I studied more and more about neurology and psychology, it became like more and more complex. It's very simple for me, but it's more complex to explain. So I thought, why don't I write a story? If I could write a story that kind of covers everything that I want to share, may not be everything, but significant, like a significant portion of what I want to share. And then if the person is like really in a really dark place, let's say if the person is about to end her life, and if I were to share a story like that, and then bring the reader through that story to the other side, through this dramatic journey, and that would explain everything, but in a very, very simple way. So a person with PhD can understand, PhD in psychology or neurology could understand this book in their level. A person with 5th grade level understanding about life and business can understand it in their level. So that's how I wrote 90 Days to Life.
I'm in the process of reading and about halfway through, and I love the analogies of the life that this person that you're taking through the process I think a lot of people can identify with where she was and how you take her through to almost like a higher awareness and helping her to regain her sense of self to be able to build that business that she so much wants to be a success as a entrepreneur and a business owner. So I want to start with a lot of people have obstacles. You talked at the beginning about people came to you because they had these obstacles in their life, no matter where it came from and what it's about.
Yeah.
You talk about opportunities, obstacles being opportunities. So tell me more about that.
So a lot of times we think about obstacles are the things that stops us from getting to something bigger. In reality, obstacles are the opportunities, because if you think about it, in life, the big victories that we have in life comes from outside of your comfort zone. And because of the habits and the beliefs about life and beliefs about yourself, beliefs about business and career and relationship, we find ourselves in a comfortable place. And the obstacles are the walls that we, not true in all the cases, but most of the time, are the walls that we create to protect ourselves. So we could have a story. Hey, I couldn't do it because of this. I couldn't do it because I'm too old or too young or too handsome or too whatever. Right? So obstacles are opportunities. Reality, obstacles are, once you break through them, basically you're expanding outside of a comfort zone. So nature, God, your subconscious creates these obstacles so that you could break through and grow to the next level. And do you need obstacles to grow your life? May not be. But if you have obstacles in your life, then think about them as like the greatest opportunity to grow to the next level. That's how I think about it.
I think that's a great way to look at it, because if someone is always telling themselves, or things always go wrong, or they have this anticipation or expectation that they're not going to be able to be successful. So the foundation from which they're standing on is kind of rocky and full of those obstacles. So in your story and in your book, you point out how to shift from that rocky and fragmented instability of that foundation to be able to view where those beliefs are not truly your own beliefs, or where those beliefs are hindering and creating those perceived obstacles. And I want to ask you, because I know in my own life, I've worked towards enabling myself to move forward with as few and as little obstacles as possible. And so as you take someone through the process of eliminating or removing obstacles, what do you find is like the pivotal or turning point in which they finally have that light bulb go off, or that aha, so that then they can move forward without the obstacles being such a major part of their being able to move forward?
Yeah. So for more than a decade, Eileen, I was trying to help people to find their, help them get rid of their obstacles and overcome their obstacles, and help them to find that breakthrough. Later stages of my career, I realized that there is nothing wrong with anyone to be fixed. All we have is a broken mirror syndrome. What does that mean? It means that we forgot how perfect we are. And because of the conditioning of the human mind, because of the conditioning of the culture, the religion, the countries, the languages, everything that we have, which I call it as mind. Let's call it mind. So because of the conditioning of the mind, we fragmented the mirror that we look at. So when we look at this mirror, it's broken. And you look at this mirror and you're seeing like 70 different pieces. And one piece looks ugly, one piece looks beautiful, one piece looks strong, one piece looks angry, one piece looks happy. And then depending upon what state of mind we are in, we kind of calibrate to one of these mirror particles. So the pivotal point when you ask me if I were to give you a deep answer is when we realize that we don't need self-help, we just need self-discovery. To a point where you realize that you're perfect from the beginning. You kind of forgot that as a you, we, me, everyone has forgotten that we were perfect from the beginning. And then if you're able to see this mirrors, even broken, if you could see this whole picture of you for one time, you'll be fascinated. And when you're able to see that whole mirror and whole mirror with the anger, with the sadness, with the happiness, with the obstacles, with the victories and failures and success and triumphs and tribulations and everything, and still look at this mirror and being able to appreciate you, you're good. So that's what I recognized.
I like that. And yeah, I'm thinking about the main character in your story, in the person that's helping her to rediscover those beautiful aspects about herself, rather than focusing on the failures or the negative parts. Throughout those first few chapters, you give her some exercises and some tools to be able to build that stronger foundation. And you have something called the power ceremony. Do you want to talk a minute or two about that?
Sure. So humans are not beings. We call ourselves human beings. We are human habits. And the habits that we started early stages of our evolution led us to using certain parts of our brain. What does that mean? It means early stages of our evolution, let's say we are hunters and gatherers and we were trying to hunt. And then when we are in this hunt process, we needed to be alert all the time because we don't know when an animal is going to attack. If there is a snake or something else, we need to be aware of. So in order for us to later stages of our evolution, kind of intermediate stages of evolution around 200,000 years ago, we developed amygdala. Amygdala basically controls or regulates fear. So we developed amygdala, and after we developed amygdala, we were able to predict danger. So because we learned how to predict danger, and because we have been in this habit for a long time, fast forward today, even if we have the most advanced, sophisticated brain that most scientists don't recognize, most neurologists don't even recognize, because they believe that we are wired to fail, which is absolute BS. We are not wired to fail. We are conditioned to fail. We are habituated to fail. So I thought, in order for us to move to the next level as a species, as an individual, as a business person, as a human being, we need to create habits that would retrain the human habit in us into whatever we want us to do in our lives. That's why I created this concept called power ceremony. So power ceremony can be done in many ways, but it is a way for you to calibrate to the higher order of your brain. So keep in mind, because of our environment half a million years ago, 1 million years ago, 2 million years ago, we were forced to use our lower level of the brain. And we have been using the lower part of our brain for a long time. And then we forgot, just like the perfection metaphor that we talk about, we forgot that we have this brain here. And we are not even using that brain for the most part, which has unlimited potential. So we stay in this space as an animal in survival, not because we are wired, but because we are conditioned. So through power ceremony, there are breathing techniques. And when you get the book, you get like some of the trainings which would teach you how to do what we call a soul breathing, or some other techniques that you could use to calibrate and connect with this higher version of your brain, so that you become more and more human. And most of us, when we become more and more human by using power ceremony, then we all become Buddha. Like 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now, we are all going to be conscious. We are all going to be conscious. In order for that to happen, we need to start using this new operating, instead of now we have Windows 10 or 11 or something. We don't work on Windows 97, right? But that's what we humans are doing by staying in the lower part of our brain. I am there, you are there, all of us are there, but our goal is to do our best to align with the higher parts of our neural system, the brain mechanism, so that we become more human. So we become perfect. Like Jesus said, be perfect like my dad is. Like, what does that mean? It means that you're perfect to begin with. Now it's just a matter of you recognize that you're perfect by being in that place of higher consciousness. Yeah.
So what I hear you saying is, as we're staying in this part of the brain, we tend to be limitless, and what we feel are the opportunities, and therefore we have more of those obstacles, versus coming up into this part, which is more expansive and helps someone to see possibilities, and success is something that is a reality that they can reach. And I'm assuming that you've seen that shift in the people that you work with by going, those who do practice the power ceremonies.
Yeah. To confuse you further, I'm kidding, but that's the first part, to move from here to here. So what does that mean in the real world? It means that you're conscious being, and you're aware about things, and you have a spiritual version of you. This is where your spirituality is, right? If there is a human place, a biological place, you could actually feel spirituality. It's here, and your heart and your gut. And that's when you actually go back. So which means that you like kind of climb the ladder from here to here to here to here, and then include everything else at the same time too. So transcend and include. So transcend and include means, in this case, is that you are primarily operating from the front area of your brain. At the same time, you have the animal in you. You have the animal in you. You have the emotional side in you. You have the memory in you. But now, you are bringing all of yourself together, rather than just keeping here, staying here. This is what I said, the confusing part, because most people think that we need to go. Hindus have this beautiful metaphor about Kundalini. They talk about like raising in your level of consciousness to that level. What they don't talk about, what most of humanity is missing, is we need to go back as well at the same time. What does that mean? It means that you need to raise your consciousness to the next level, and being human at the same time. Until you're living as a human body, we need to go back to the body to experience sensuality, experience beauty, experience food, experience life, experience sex, experience love and relationship and romance, and the sunset and the sunrise. So for that, if you stay here all the time, you don't do that. You're like, this is all, as Hindus say, and I love them. I love the Hindu mythology, where they talk about everything is Maya, which is like illusion. And when you stay in illusion, what happens is you're not I mean, I believe you're not living. There's nothing wrong with staying there, but if you stay there all the time, there's no life. So you go to the front until you realize that you need to have all of the above. Does that make
So
sense?
it's almost like you can get your head in the clouds, but you still need to come down and ground it and bring it into the human experience, but not be so much in one space or the other. And but in order to be able to do that and sustain that, it's to take those steps up, understand this, and then go back down and integrate all of it, and then apply practical application of the tools and the processes which you break down in this book and your different chapters and through the story. Which brings me to my next part of your book that I want you to share, because I think it's important when someone is trying to make that change, that shift, to move from that one fragmented space into that more balanced and solid foundation, especially if someone's a business person and they're working towards being successful or wanting to be more successful, but are hitting those roadblocks. You take the character in this book through a series of questioning that allows her to do what I believe what you just described, where she has to go back and look at why things are happening and the way that she thinks they're happening, and then bring it back forward and rethink and reorganize in her brain what the real truth is, and not that illusionary truth or what I call a false belief. So I'd like to hear you talk about that, because I found it fascinating, the way that the person that's guiding her in the book phrases the question so that it allows her and enables her to make those shifts and changes pretty quickly.
Sure. So let's talk about questions for a second, and why that is really important. We all have a lot of thoughts, obviously. Thoughts are conditioning. We are not thinking our thoughts. We're thinking somebody else's thought for the most part. Either our parents' thought, or grandparents' thoughts, or Adam's thoughts. We kind of recycle the thoughts and keep on thinking for somebody else. Aristotle said, this is how you think. And then we, like 2000 years, humans are thinking exactly what Aristotle is thinking. Because he asked a certain set of questions and he got some answers. They were original questions for him. And then we kind of copied those answers and we just live our life. So in order for us to create our highest destiny in our lives, Eileen, we need to ask a question that is unique to ourselves. So you came to this planet for a purpose. And for that purpose, there is a dance to you. And the dance to you is expressed through a question. Like Einstein asked a question like, hey, why are two trains traveling at the speed of light in the opposite direction? What happens if the man in the one train and the woman in the other train see each other? Who will see first and who will have light, and so on and so forth? Newton asked the question, why is this apple falling down? Which sounds like a silly question, but nobody questioned it. Aristotle said, whatever it is, and this is what happened, and then Newton was able to ask that question. So if you look at it, the quality and the complexity of the questions that we ask ourselves decide the quality of lives that we have. So the questions that we ask in our sessions, and when you go through the book, you will get like more and more clarity around these things, is to help you identify, going back to your own perfection, identify your own perfection, because oftentimes somebody forced us to look at look at our own imperfection all the time. So if sadness and depression and anxiety and any kind of disempowering emotions and any kind of challenges that we go through, it's nothing but a reflection of how much we are focusing into our weaknesses. What's going on with us humans, right? I don't think zebras look at it and like, hey, I want to go for therapy and look at all the mistakes that I have done and so on and so forth. We seem to be not able to let go of our mistakes. And what we do with Eileen, with our methodology, we call it Accelerator Identity Methodology. What we do is we help people to look at themselves and create a story for their life, something that is empowering them. So if you look at your own life right now, if you're seeing a tragic story, a suffering story, a painful story, a failure story, then that is a story that you're going to live for the rest of your lives too, because that is what you are energizing. Knowingly or unknowingly, you're energizing that story that is disempowering you. In your case, that's not true, but I'm just generally speaking, right? So the best and the fastest way to create transformation is to change the metaphor of me. Like, what is this metaphor of the species coming to this planet and doing this thing? No matter how imperfect you think you are, no matter how much mistakes you have done in life, no matter how many times you failed in life or business or career or whatever, in relationship, there is a beauty and a preciousness and uniqueness to you. And that uniqueness, once appreciated, creates an empowering journey. And that's what we help them find out.
So it sounds like you take people from story and the narrative that was based on ego to story and narrative that's based on the heart center, that really taps into a person's true self and not that conditioned self. And especially for someone who's in business, it really helps them to value what they bring to the business and what they bring to the clients and even to colleagues. So I think what you offer is valuable and really something that can help someone to really tune in to what their foundation is, how fragmented it is, and quickly and easily be able to move forward in identifying those parts of themselves that they can let go of that past narrative and find that part that can move them forward in a successful way. And your processes and what you do has helped a lot of people be successful. And I'd like to know what has been your most successful, client that you don't have to say who it is, but just like they were in this dark place or in this place and they shifted so profoundly. And, maybe like, what was that shift and where are they now?
Yeah. So I could probably give you 2 examples on that. So early stages of my career, I could actually share one person's name itself. Misty came to me. Misty was probably 2010, 11. And she was doing probably $8.5 million. So she was already successful. So I'll give you like probably one more example if I could. Yeah, so she came to me. She's already successful. She doesn't know how to grow to the next level. And started working with me. 18 months later, she started doing $24.5 million per year. Yeah, and I didn't touch her business. Briefly, I helped her with the business, some of the business strategies, but it's a person who changed. The person who's running the show changed. I had Raj and another client of mine, not in US, in a different location. He came to me doing around $50 million business, but this was right before COVID. All of his business stopped completely. The COVID situation, didn't know what to do, completely stopped. Like $50 million, nothing can be done. And he has enormous number of employees. I don't know, 800 or 900 or something employees. He has to pay all the salary and so on and so forth. I started working with him. Within a few months, and all of them were losing money. All the divisions were losing money. So he owns like many businesses. So we got him to get his company to be cash flow positive in less than probably 3 months. And of course, I worked on some of the strategic elements. So I work on strategy for business. I work on the person. I work on the psychology, and I work on the neurology. But oftentimes, I have seen that working on the person, the CEO itself, is really powerful. To give you another simple example, I have people who come to me these days. I work with only people who at least do like $100,000 minimum globally, which I rarely do nowadays too. So I have people who come to me doing $150,000. Like a year later, they are doing $350,000 in revenue. So in various of these examples, one thing that I'm recognizing is the human factor. We have mental obesity, which is in our mind. We're carrying these toxins and nutrients and water and other things that are not needed because of the conditioning, because we never sat down and set our own values on what direction that we want to move and what we want to do in your life. So if we are able to handle this mental obesity, and then I'm not trying to get you to be perfect. Like I said, you're perfect already. I often tell my clients, my job is just to be a mirror, to be an unbroken mirror where you could look at and see your perfection for the first time. And that's what I do. And once they see their perfection, everything changes. It's magical from them.
I was gonna say, it sounds like it would be magic, and like a whole other world opens up for them. And then I like to say extraordinary things start to happen. Thank you for sharing those stories. I think that should give some of the people that'll be watching this hope, that there are answers out there, and your book and what you do can definitely help a lot of people. So I think I'd like to close out this interview with asking, what is your thoughts, or what are your thoughts on the tribes that we bring into our circle, the people that we surround ourselves with? How important is that in relation to what you just shared and what we've talked about up to this point?
Your tribe. So the vocabulary, I use the vocabulary tribe in the book a lot. Your tribe is the people that you interact most of the time, or little bit of time emotionally, or these are the people who influence you the most. So these are the people that you spend a lot of physical time with, a lot of emotional time with, or these are the people who influence you the most. So if you have any people like this, then they are your tribe. So extreme example, if somebody hurt you and you haven't forgiven them, they are part of your tribe without choice, right? And it's fascinating. You are not forgiving him so that you could forgive him or her. You're forgiving him or her because you don't need that person to be part of your life. If that's the intention, then just freaking forgive so that you could be free. So you could be free. So what happens is the people who are in our physical or emotional or intellectual proximity, they are constantly influencing us. The questions that they ask, without even you knowing it, you would ask. The words that they use, without even you knowing it, you would use. The thoughts that they have, consequently, you will have their thoughts. The beliefs that they have for the world is what you will believe. We are all part of tribe. There is this Democratic tribe, the Republican tribe, the Trump tribe, the Lincoln Project tribe, to extreme alt-right and extreme right and extreme left and center and white and black and all kind of tribes. All kind of tribes that we are affected by, influenced by, we start believing as a group. So think about it. Your words are the same, the questions are the same, the thoughts are the same, the beliefs are the same, the belief about the world are the same, the belief about yourself is the same, belief about the culture is the same, the values are the same. So I think this answers the question. If you want to grow to the next level in business or life, the easiest and the fastest way is to find people who believe what you want to believe, who uses the vocabulary that you want to use, who ask the questions that you want to ask, and have the result that you already have. So that is the ultimate level of role modeling. At that point, you are creating your destiny the fastest.
That sounds easier than I'm sure it's done. I'm sure it's something that everybody would want, but I'm thinking that it's not easy for people to let go of those energy vampires and the negative people in their life. But I'm sure with practice and just starting with one person at a time, they can shift that tribe into a tribe that's going to be beneficial for them.
Yeah. Can I add one sentence there? You don't need to let go of anyone at this point. One thing that you could do is you could add one person to your tribe. So you don't need to let go. You don't need to oh my gosh, you're so negative, I don't want to deal with you anymore. You don't need to do that. If you want to do it, that's your choice. But what you could do is you could have one person added to your tribe. For example, this is the simplest way to create what I call as a super tribe. I describe that in the book as well. Find the two people that you know who are the best in the world, introduce them to each other. And you introduce them, immediately you started a future tribe, a super tribe, because they know each other and they know you connected them, and then you started a new tribe of the most amazing people. So you don't even need to have so much friendship. The best person that you know on one side, the best person you know on another side, introduce them, and then tell them, hey, can we meet once in a month? Get on a Zoom call, get both of them on a Zoom call, and tell them, hey, can we get on a Zoom call once in a month, once in 3 months, or physically meet somewhere once in. Immediately you're elevating it to the next level. Easy enough, right? That's easy too, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, yes. I love that. So thank you. Well, we're going to close out this first portion of the multiple series interview that we'll be doing. And next time we'll talk about the spirituality of business. And I'd like you to share with everybody how they can find you.
Sure. You could actually visit my website, which is rublechandy.com, my first name, last name.com, RUBLECHANDY.com. So that's where you could see all the details about the things that we do to help businesses to scale and grow to the next level. And 90 Days to Life is our book. You could go to Amazon or any other place that you buy books, go search for 90 Days to Life book, and then you could get our book, 90 Days to Life, Kindle, printed, and in many countries in the world, you will get the book. Go read the book. It's a simple story. I mean, you already experienced the way we talk here. We share really simple stories. But if you're deep enough, if you're able to understand deeply enough, you will take so much more than a story.
And what I'd like to add is I recommend that you get the book. So as we do these series of interviews, you can follow along and understand even more of what Ruble and I are talking about. So thank you very much. I really enjoyed this conversation. I look forward to the next one. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you, Eileen. I appreciate
You're
you. Thanks.
welcome. Bye.